Welcome back to another episode of Pottawattamie County Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's show when we had my friend Fred Getch sitting here, and Fred telling us about some of the history behind the Masons in our area, how the Amber Lodge, which is in the now non-existent community of Quick, right there at the McClellan exit off of Highway 6. And if you haven't watched that episode yet, please go back a day and take a look at it, because just some fascinating history about our area. And Fred talks about a lot of family names too that have been longtime Masons. So I encourage you to do that. Also, reminder that Cobiah Lodge 631 is selling ice cream at the Council Bluffs Farmers Market. So if you see the guys out there in their blue shirts, they are raising money. All of that money is earmarked toward a program that we have every spring that is Burgers for Blue, and also for the first responders and the fire department. So we actually do it over two separate Tuesdays. So that's going to come up in May. Again, it's turned into a wonderful annual event, and just a way for us as a community to give back to those that have sacrificed so much and take part in everything that it is that we just want to, as I said, we just want to say thank you for that. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about returning to a topic that we've discussed before on this show, and it is podcasting and the why behind it. Now, what I do is a little bit different. I don't really consider this a podcast. This is more of a small market media show. I'm delivering it in podcast form, but it's really designed to be able to do that. And the reason that I do it is because there's a need for it. You are well aware that we now live in a media desert in our area. And that is because the newspapers have all but gone. They don't have the staff to be able to cover things the way that they used to. You know, once upon a time, the Nonpareil had dozens of people on staff. They were everywhere. They had reporters out covering everything. And the Daily Nonpareil was a true daily institution. It's not anymore. And I am rooting for those that are still there and grinding away and trying to provide as much coverage as they can. We need you to continue to do that. I would love to be able to talk to your bosses and say, hey, here's a model that you can actually make money at to be able to do this, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get that meeting. However, we have been actively working on something else that we can add to what's happening with the media, and that is the CB Journal. And it's going to be an online newspaper style that will exist on the Lus Hills media site. And we will be pushing that out very, very soon. And by soon, I mean it's days away that this will come into fruition. And we want to be posting daily to this with different things that are going on. So with that in mind, this is kind of a plea to you that if you have anything going on, if your nonprofit has something going on, we want on your list of press releases. So please comment here where you're seeing this, and we can make a connection so we can get that information out even further for you. But talking about podcasting and what this can do for your small business in a small community. Now, I know that people can look at podcasting and think of the Joe Rogans or the Theo Vaughns. These are comedy shows. Or you get a little bit bigger and you look at Dave Ramsey on the financial side. Or maybe you are looking at something in the sports world with Dan Patrick or Rich Eisen or any of these guys that are doing, hundreds of thousands of views. And you're thinking that, well, number one, you could never do it. And also, what would be the point to it? And I agree with you. What is the point to that? There really isn't one. You don't need to reach a national audience with a podcast when you're doing business in a small town around Pottawattamie County. What you do need is a way to reach those that are in the area. And you need to have a connection to them. You can do the same kind of thing that I'm doing. You see how I've got an empty chair here, and I have guests that come in and sit in this chair, and we talk about whether it is their nonprofit or service organization or their small business or what have you. We have those conversations. You can do the same thing. It would be a completely different style, but just because this exists does not mean that another one cannot exist. Our good friend Rick Graybill with Foxco Fabrication has just started another podcast with his buddies and with Mike and Tanner, and it's called Two Lunch Sunday, and kind of a funny name behind that. I'll let them explain it to you on that show, but they decided to make a family-friendly podcast, and again, talking about things that are going on in the area. This is important because we need to be talking about everything that it is that we're doing and our why behind it. It's how we can stay in touch with our communities. Listen, people just aren't out as much anymore. They are online more and more. So if you are not out there talking to people in a place where they are already communicating, then you're missing out. And those that are doing it are seeing a real benefit from it. I know that I am. I get approached all the time. We just went and did a show recently, and Bryce Taylor and I on the Council Bluffs Today show, and we did another restaurant highlight, and the manager there knew who I was. We hadn't met before, but he knew who I was because I am out on this platform. And it made the conversation a lot easier. So when I talked to them about, hey, Bryce and I would like to come in and highlight the 712, he said, happy to have you. Come on in, because he already knew what it was that we were doing. Now, I have been at this for a couple of years, and I've got over 800 shows under my belt, but you can too. It is a process of building a library of content that can let people know your area of expertise. And trust me, you have one.
What if your healthcare provider came to you? Me to You is an Iowa-based in-home primary care practice, bringing personalized medical care directly to your home. Especially helpful for people who have difficulty getting out, Me to You serves patients of all ages, from children through end-of-life care, from wellness visits and chronic disease management to preventative care and advanced care planning. That means less time traveling, less time in waiting rooms, and more time where it matters most. Learn more at metouYou.care or call 641-843-8405. Turn your business vision into a digital presence that gets noticed with Just Sue Creative. Founder Sue Pitts brings more than 20 years of small business development experience to every project, combining strategy with custom website design, SEO, branding, content creation, and marketing. Whether you need to build your online foundation, reach more customers, or just sharpen your message, Sue creates a budget-friendly plan tailored to your goals. Schedule your free consultation today at justsuecreative.com.
I heard I think it was on another podcast that somebody was talking about it, that every single person walking the earth, there's something that they know better than I do. Every person has something like that they know their topic better than I do. So we can all learn from that. And that is how I am reaching people with this. And I want to give you an opportunity to do the same thing. It's one of the reasons why service that we provide is podcast production. But if it's something that you would just like to try on your own and just get out there, I would highly encourage you to do that. Give it a shot. Set up your phone. Don't even get an external microphone yet. Just set up your phone and start talking, and maybe you got a friend. I would recommend getting a tripod for your phone. They're really inexpensive, but it's a way to be able to do it and then post to social media just the way that I do. It doesn't cost anything to post to there. You can put things on Spotify completely free as well. iHeart Podcast lets you post there for free. YouTube obviously is free. Now, there are some distribution sites that will charge you to be able to upload once and then it's pushed to multiple places. But, that's something that you could potentially grow into. But in the meantime, just start producing content. It's easy to get out ahead of the game. We've talked about it before that 90% of the podcasts that have ever been started didn't make it past episode 3. So you want to be what, top 10% in podcasting? Publish episode 4, and that gets you there. You want to be in the top 1%, you got to make it past episode 23. And then you're in the top 1% of podcasts that have ever been produced. There's value in it. I can tell you that the longer you do it, the better at it you get. It is such a wonderful networking opportunity. Let's say that you have a trades business, and I get it, that you're very busy. When am I going to have time to do this? But in my mind, making time is important. Now, I'm going to talk about the why behind that, because if you're a tradesperson and you can bring in someone to be a guest on your podcast that you want to be able to have a business relationship with. Maybe it's another tradesman. Maybe it is a mortgage broker. Maybe it is the termite guy. There can be a lot of different people, but what a wonderful networking opportunity to sit and have a targeted conversation with this person. And think about that. If you're doing a weekly podcast, what is 52 of those conversations over the course of a year worth to you? All of us, we need to be out networking. We don't live in a bubble. We live in small communities. And it is much more important in these small communities to push out the personal relationships with people. We have to have those. Otherwise, we're just going to tank because we're not going to get the foot traffic. If you have a brick and mortar store, you're not in Omaha. You're not going to get 10,000 cars driving past your store every day. That's just not going to happen. You really need to be a destination place. And what better way to reach people than by this? You can take this long form video, much the way that I am recording now. You can create video shorts from it and post those. I had a video short from an interview that I did with Jeff Franco. And Jeff is the executive director of Pottawattamie Conservation, and they handle all the parks around Pottawattamie County. And I created some video shorts from that, and I pushed it out. And they went out on Instagram, they went out on YouTube, they went out on Facebook, and they also went out on TikTok. And one of those TikTok videos caught fire. And the last time I looked, and this has been a week ago, it could have even more by now, it had crossed 235,000 views. Now, no, I didn't get any money from that amount of views. That's not the point. The point is that all of those people now know about me, and I saw my subscriber list on TikTok rise by 500 because of that. And that just off of one single video. That's what can happen. Are you familiar with Gary Vee? Gary Vee is kind of the social media guru when it comes to posting content. He himself talks about how he's putting up over 200 posts a day across multiple accounts that he has. But he talks about just doing it and understanding that initially they probably won't do all that well, but also understanding that this is how you learn and you get better and you pay attention to the ones that do better. What is different about those versus some of the other ones that you did? And you just slowly grow your brand. And he also talks about how the algorithm no longer cares how many followers you have. That doesn't have anything to do with how far something gets pushed out. It's about content, and it's about, is this something that people want to see? And has their online history shown that what it is that you're talking about is what they have an interest in? That's how things go viral now. He said you can have 2 or 3 followers and get 1 million views on a post. That happens. Now, for me, that 235,000, a little bit of an anomaly. Typically, I'm at around the 2,000 to 3,000 range. But those are great numbers because I know that local people are seeing what it is that I'm doing. And this is my audience. I want to talk to local people. I don't care if somebody that lives in Idaho and has never heard of Council Bluffs is watching my stuff. that doesn't matter because there's no benefit to those around here for my sponsors and for the people that we're bringing in. They're not going to reach them. So knowing that these views stay local is something that I take a lot of pride in. And it's something that you could be taking a lot of pride in too, because you need the local views. You need the audience that could come to your shop or is going to make your phone ring because they need their windows cleaned or they need a new house cleaning service or whatever it might be. Maybe it's just a florist and they're going to need to get some flowers for an event or something. There's almost endless is possibilities with it. And it's really not about how many total views you get right in the beginning. People will look at that and they'll say, oh, well, I didn't, this particular episode did 1,500 views and this one only did 200. So there's really no point to doing this. No. I went through that myself. I went through a period with these shows where it was like a strong day if I got 150 views on an episode. And don't get me wrong, it was frustrating. Yeah, it was frustrating. But I also knew that I had to wait for the audience to find me. And to be consistently posting is what the algorithm likes, and that's what it's going to push it out even further. Now, that 150, the same number would be about 1,000 views. When I cross 1,000 views, I say, okay, that show did okay, and I consistently do that. I've been watching numbers climb. We're doing roughly 100,000 views a month just on the Facebook channel, and it's encouraging to know that this work has it's grown, and not just that, but it's grown roots, kind of like Pottawattamie County roots on this show that we're doing here. So again, I would encourage you to just get things going. I've talked with a lot of people that say, I've thought about doing a podcast, and my answer to them always is, why are you only thinking about it? Well, I'm not really sure if it would be any good. Oh, it won't be, but that's okay.
Primrose Retirement Community in Council Bluffs believes home should be a place of comfort, connection, and care. From personalized support to engaging daily activities, everything they do is designed to help residents live fully and confidently. At Primrose, that's their priority, to put the quality of their residents' care and daily needs at the top of their list each day and every day. It's not just about where you live, it's about how you live. Learn more about life at Primrose by going to primroseretirement.com and then contact Jamie Bush at Primrose and discover a place that truly puts people first. Finding the right care for a loved one can feel overwhelming. Assisted Living Locators is here to help. Jean Bonker brings more than 30 years of experience serving families and has personally navigated the challenges of elder care. She understands the questions, the emotions, and the weight of these decisions. Jean becomes your advocate, guiding you through options with clarity, compassion, and personal support every step of the way. Call Assisted Living Locators at 402-690-5467 and move forward with confidence.
Did you happen to see that documentary about the Eagles? I think it was the Hell Freezes Over documentary. And Glenn Fry was talking about his relationship with Bob Seger. And Glenn Fry met Bob Seger when he was just a teenager. And there's a song, one of Seger's first hits, that Glenn Fry is doing backup singing on it. And he was still a teenager at the time. And he was talking to Seger about songwriting. And Fry said, well, what if they're bad? And Bob Seger said, oh, they're going to be bad. That's just part of it. But you have to go through that in order to become better and to get good at something. I can't think of a single thing that I've ever done in my life that I was a success the first time that I tried it. I've always gotten better at everything, or I stopped doing it. And that's the key. Finding something that you have a passion for, and then you just keep at it and you'll get better. And trust me, I used to sit in a tiny room and talk to invisible people. That was how my good friend Jeff Larson, who longtime radio personality in Omaha, used to describe the radio industry. And I am used to being very animated. I'd have a microphone here, I'm not looking, and I'm moving my arms around, and I'm trying to make sure that I get over the top inflection in my voice, because that's what has to translate when it's audio only to be able to effectively communicate with people. But now that I'm on camera, I've had to learn to sit a lot more still. And you've noticed, yeah, I still talk with my hands. I still fidget around a little bit. Would never be a good news anchor. They sit very still. I don't think that I could ever do that. But I've gotten better at sitting here. I've gotten better at looking into the camera and talking to you because I know that as I'm saying these words, I'm recording myself. I'm not truly live, but I do know that eventually somebody will be hearing it. And that's the other key too. People get nervous about how many people are listening. And well, 10,000 people. What if I had 10,000 people listening? Okay. Yeah, but they're not all in the same room listening to you together and judging you as a collective. That's not the case. You're talking about individuals. They're all single people. You're just talking to one person. In that particular case, it would be 10,000 examples of one person, but it's still just one person. And that's who you are talking to. That is all you have to talk to. It's a lot easier than you think. And it is ripping the Band-Aid off and just getting out there and doing it, because quite often that's the key to overcoming a fear, or maybe it is even a phobia. I think that it was said that it's been stated that the biggest fear that people have in general is public speaking. But it's not the speaking part that they're afraid of. Talking and words coming out of their mouth, that's not it. It's the public part. Because they're not afraid of talking to people, they're afraid of being judged by people. Well, guess what? They're not judging you. That's not the case. And if they are, so what? I do get some online trolls every once in a while, but so what? It's not anything that I have to concern myself with. And I've gotten better at it initially. Yeah, it did bother me, but I kept at it. And now I don't care. And it's something that you can move past. So again, if you have any questions about podcasting, please reach out. I'd be very happy to talk to you. Happy to share the information that I have. Happy to have you come in and take a tour of the studios. I'll show you the equipment. I'll show you the cameras and the lights, the microphone, which you can see right here. I'm using a wireless mic now. All of these things are available to the general public. I do not have special permission to purchase things. You can get them too. So I would be happy to talk to you about it and see whether or not it makes sense for you and your business to be able to do that. My belief is that it would, but ultimately that decision is going to be yours. All right, I'm going to wrap things up for today. And, by the way, I was at the state fair on Sunday. And, well, here, take a look at this video. Started off raining as we were driving in with a beautiful sunrise. Just kind of puts the mood in the right place. We decided this year to take a shuttle into the fair. So they had moved what used to be the shuttle from South Polk. It is now at South Ridge Mall. We parked and we rode a bus into the state fair. They dropped us off. We went in and we were there, and it was so easy. It was so much easier than last year. I sat in traffic on University, not an exaggeration, for 2 hours last year. Got into town at 9 a.m., pulled on to the fairgrounds at 11 a.m. That was last year. This year, pulled into South Ridge Mall at about 8:40. We were at the fairgrounds by 9. And so much easier. Had a gluten-free lobster corn dog. That's what I had for lunch. It's the first time I've ever spent $20 on a corn dog. But it was a full lobster tail, so I get why it was the price that it was. And it was very, very good. Had some ice cream, saw a lot of really cool stuff. The biggest boar, the biggest bull, and just wanted to go get a picture taken. That was the point to all of that. But again, if you haven't been over to the Iowa State Fair yet, it's going to be running through the 23rd this coming Sunday, and I would encourage you to do it. It's an experience if you haven't been, and if you have, it's new every year. They got a great America 250th birthday display there. It's really cool. And it's kind of tradition for my wife and I to ride the chairlift. Here's a picture of the crowd from that lift. Yeah, there was a lot of people in the afternoon. Wasn't bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, it was pretty crowded. And also picked up a new Hawkeye shirt. I got to put my hands on Floyd of Rosedale, and also the other trophies that were brought over from the University of Iowa. Iowa State, if you're an Iowa State fan, they've got a great booth there. Northern Iowa has a booth. A lot of the smaller colleges have booths now there too. Drake's still a pretty big university there, but I'm trying to think of who. I think I saw Simpson. There was Dubuque University. Is that the Dewhawks? I think those are the Dewhawks. So lots of opportunities to talk with folks there, and for some reason, a lot of hot tubs. every few steps, there was another company selling hot tubs, but it's just a wonderful experience, and it's the most Iowa thing that I do every year, so I'd encourage you to get over and take part in that. All right, wrapping up the show for today. Thank you so much. Leave a comment here, and if you'd like more information about podcasting, and we'll connect, and I'd be happy to share the information that I have with you. Wraps up today's show, Pottawattamie County Roots, presented by Hoy Kilnoski Funeral Home. Thank you so much to them, and thanks to you for watching. My name is Todd Studer, and we'll see you next time.